Did you guys hear the scandal about Doug Emhoff? Yes. So Doug Emhoff, if you don't know him, is Kamala Harris's husband. And it came out that in his first marriage, he actually cheated on his first wife with his children's nanny. And he got her pregnant. And then he paid for her abortion like a gentleman. And, Republicans are harping on this. I think it's fine. I think this could be good for the Harris campaign because she's running on protecting abortion rights, right? And I think it's very impactful when politicians talk about a subject from their lived experience. So who better to talk about abortion than Doug Emhoff, Just get him at the podium, My fellow Americans, we need to protect a woman's right to choose and a man's right to cover up his mistakes. Because what would have happened if my nanny had had that child? Well, I would have had to hire a second nanny to take care of my first nanny's child. And then let's be honest, I'm gonna sleep with that nanny too. And then that's another baby and another nanny, and then where does it end, folks? I'm not made of money. You gotta protect a woman's right to choose. We gotta do something about these hot nannies, What is all these hot nannies? A lot of single-issue nanny voters. Joe Biden, he's still the president, I'm told. I'm gonna miss watching interviews with Joe Biden because he'd say some pretty interesting things in interviews sometimes. I remember this reporter asked him, Mr. President, how did you evolve on the issue of gay marriage? And I thought he was gonna talk about, like the Obama administration. He talked about high school. He said, when I was a senior in high school, my dad was driving me to school one day, and I was looking out the window and I saw these two well-dressed men on the sidewalk. And they were kissing each other. And I turned to my dad and I said, Dad, are these guys gay? My dad, I'll never forget, he said, Joey, it's simple. They love each other. It's simple, Joey. They love each other. That story, it really impacted me because it is such a crock of shit. Joe Biden wants me to believe that in 1959, before segregation was repealed, his working-class Catholic father said love is love. That Joe Biden at age 17 had gay marriage all figured out, and then he was publicly against it for the next 53 years. That's a remarkable story. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Joe Biden's dad was the wokest man in 1959. I want to hear more stories about that. Like one time I was out with my dad, and we were at the malt shop getting milkshakes, and we were leaving the establishment. These women came up to us, and they had a lot of makeup on. They had really short skirts, and they said, "Hey, we can show you a good time for $10." I turned to my dad and I said, "Dad, are these women prostitutes?" My dad, I'll never forget, he said, "Joey, it's simple. They're sex workers, Joey. And sex work is real work." And then he said, I swear to God, he said, #legalize sex work. Get it trending on X.com. And then he gave me $10. He said, "Have a good time on me, Joey." I'm still kind of shocked that Joe Biden dropped out of the race because a week before he dropped out, George Stephanopoulos asked him, "Is there any condition where you would leave this race?" And he said, "The only way I'd leave this race is if the Lord Almighty told me to leave. That's the only way, if the Lord Almighty told me to leave." But then, of course, a week later, he dropped out, right? Which implies that one of two things happened. Either there was, in fact, divine intervention, or Barack Obama did a prank phone call. "Hey, Joe, it's Jesus. And I'm here with Michelle. I'm here with Mary. And look, you gotta drop out, or I'm gonna do another Noah's Ark. We're gonna flood the world. I'm gonna make you get 2 of every animal, put them on a boat. You're 82 years old. How are you gonna wrangle 2 giraffes? It's not easy, Joe. It's not easy. Do the right thing." And then 5 minutes later, Joe gets another phone call. "Hi, this is God. And actually, that first one, that was the devil. That was the devil. The Antichrist was trying to fool you. This is the real God, and you gotta stay in the race, Joe. You gotta stay in, don't drop out. I talked to all the angels, everyone's saying you gotta stay in. Or else you're gonna get smited. We're gonna do so much smiting, you're gonna be smited like no one's ever been smited before. We're gonna turn you into a pillar of salt, Joe. You would not believe." All right, folks, you've been fantastic. Thank you so much.
One more time for Jason Fishman, everybody. The best impressionist in Boston. Follow him on his Instagram. Also follow us, Popcorn